guys, welcome back to Dark Heresy, going into hour number 2. Steven, take it away.
All right, so what has just happened is Chet Helmsworthy has burst into the room. He's very obviously drunk, and he points at Kalia, who's dancing with Jax. And he says, "Kalia, you whore!" And then all of a sudden, you know, a number of the enforcers that are standing around come and swing in and grab him by the arms.
Now, Steven, as her body is pressed against mine, when he does this,
Yeah.
what do I feel?
Oh, well, she clings to you with a little bit of fear, pressing her supple breasts into your chest.
Around.
And you feel the full length of her body all down your side.
Hey,
She's pretty tall. She's actually able to look you in the eyes. She's wearing some small courtly heels.
Kudos to your girlfriend in the background, by the way, where as you say that, she doesn't even flinch. She's just like, yeah, that's him doing his thing.
Takes another sip of the beer, man. She's in.
That's what she's like. Yep.
Okay, so as she
wife,
tenses in,
actually.
Wife.
Sorry. Yes, wife.
There you go.
Believe me, I know. We don't spend that kind of money to be called girlfriends anymore. I kind of scoot her behind me and put myself in between him then, but he's obviously being detained anyways.
Yeah, and he just keeps on spouting invective about her and how she stole Kari Ophilie from him and how he'll have his revenge. He's just obviously completely
how close
pissed
am I
off.
to him?
You're within, let's say 10 meters, 30 feet.
Can we shut him up with a feedback screech?
Oh, yeah, if you want to try.
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's attempt a feedback screech.
Cool.
Can you describe what a feedback screech is?
It is exactly what you would think it is.
It's just an audio feedback that...
It is an unholy cacophony of machine-speak and binary cant mixed together in such a way that human ears and minds cannot possibly comprehend.
Okay. And it's
Which
very
orifice
loud.
does it come out of from you?
It doesn't come out from an orifice. It comes out from the basic implants that you get. It's like
Okay.
it's like a little boombox on the shoulder.
Okay.
I bring the life of the party.
Awesome. So is there a role for that, or do you just... It's a full action, I see. I don't think there's actually any role you have to make. You just make it happen.
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome. So you do that?
Can you act out the noise, TB?
Yeah, what's it sound like?
It sounds like Skrillex, basically.
Okay.
Awesome.
So TB basically plays dubstep, is what we're...
It's essentially the shoulder-mounted dubstep cannon in the name of the Emperor.
Nice.
Beautiful.
So Engelbart drops the beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entire crowd, this is a loud sound within a 30-meter radius. The entire crowd just swears and cover their ears. You hear a lot of "God Emperor" or "In the Emperor's name." What is that? Everybody
It's a
sort
holy
of...
cacophony that one would call
The
Skrillex.
musicians immediately stop playing, and even the enforcers grabbing Chet, they just sort of stop and cover their ears. Everybody sort of looks stunned for a little bit, and then Chet runs towards Kalia. What are you doing, Jax?
Oh, he runs towards her?
Yeah, because he's been let go because of the feedback.
This is
screech.
great. If you can imagine, I actually, as I'm holding her back, I put my brass knuckles on, and it's just a gigantic punch to the face.
Oh, give me that weapon skill roll.
You missed it, didn't you?
No, my weapon skill is 30, so I would say it's at least a partial success.
Unfortunately, he bowls straight into you, and your swing was slightly mistimed. If you'd been just a little bit earlier, you would have clocked him pretty hard. But he runs straight into you, and the two of you go sprawling. Would you give me an agility test?
Guessing with karma, I don't get a 5 again. Oh.
Well, that'll
shit.
do it, man.
Wow.
Awesome. Well,
Can't punch a drunk man stumbling towards me, but I'll be damned if I don't take that tackle with grace.
you grab him as he's charging into you, and you actually swing him to the floor. And he's down on the ground, and you're a little thrown off balance. You're not completely in control of this, but you managed to make it look pretty smooth. Kalia gives you a lustful look, that flashes in her eyes, and then she lifts up her high heel and she puts it straight down on Chet Helmsworthy's throat, and she leans down to him and she says, "You listen to me, you little worm. She is mine, and I never want to see you again." And then she kicks him in the side, and she like strolls off towards the drinks table.
How subdued is he? Is he like scrambling to get after her?
Basically crying. He puked a little bit when he fell.
Oh, okay.
He's
I kind of pick him up by the shoulders then, like just set him up and say, "Best you probably get out of here then."
he sort of like puts his hand to his face and he sort of like just stumbles back out the doors. Engelbart, give me an awareness test, please.
Okay.
What's your perception?
Pretty high.
It is
38.
38, yeah.
All right, very cool. So as he's stumbling out the door and the party gets back into swing, people sort of start recovering. Everybody's sort of looking at you really askance, Engelbart, like, oh my God, what with your black half mask covering the top of your face?
Spaghetti that I stored in my pockets earlier just starts falling out.
You also see across the crowd, you see your picked servitor just sort of trundling around like back in one corner.
It wants to dance, yeah.
I will attempt to dance with the pick servitor in order to blend in.
God, yes. Okay.
Situation.
You make your way across the ballroom. The dancing picks back up. The musicians strike back up. Everybody starts dancing. Give me an agility test, please.
Oh shit! The robot is.
Oh my God!
All right.
Oh my God, this picture.
This like, it doesn't surprise me.
Elaine
You're
dancing
so horribly with this mostly lobotomized half machine man.
Like Engelbart just stops emitting this god awful terrible sound and then like
spinning on the spot.
He actually looks like he's just dancing to the dubstep. That's what he's doing.
I emit another feedback screech so nobody notices.
It hasn't been 1d5 rounds yet.
God damn it!
Oh God.
So yeah, you're sort of like dorking around, and the picked servitor is just going boop 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 and trying to look over your shoulder. You notice that the green light is sort of blinking on it.
I guess. Well, I will turn around and see what it's trying to capture, I suppose.
Yeah, you turn around, and all of you sort of notice this at the same time. There's another woman ascending the staircase, the right-hand staircase up to the balcony, and she has 4 heavily armed guards, all wearing, full armor, stormtrooper armor, actually, and carrying standard bolt guns in their hands.
Bolt guns.
And yep. And she has an incredible flowing red cloak coming off of her. And she has this mask on that has this massive sort of, it almost looks like a sun. And like the top of it is this huge spire coming off of it. And she stands up over the railing and she looks down. She's placed both of her hands on either side of her down at the crowds below. And she says, "Citizens of Eutraxis." And the crowd falls completely silent. Ooh. You notice that her voice is actually amplified. Maybe she has some augmentation, something like that. And she says, and she takes off the mask, and you recognize her as Planetary Governor Zarya Theodora.
Oh, shit. Uh-oh.
And you also notice that all along the walls, from somewhere, from almost nowhere, a large number of additional guards have just appeared, clad entirely in black and holding las carbines. And she says, "Today is an auspicious day." And the entire crowd just goes completely silent. There's like just little murmurings. Oh my God.
I don't know what that word means.
What is it?
Are they going to say it? Oh my God. And she says, "Through long deliberation and through careful study, finally, at last, Karna Phaedrus has agreed to sign Law 178, which gives Law 178 enough support in the noble houses to be ratified by the Adeptus Administratum in effect on Samson 4. And the entire room just erupts in cheering. 178, yay. And, you know, a couple
robot marriage.
A couple of people are just sort of looking at each other, completely lost. The
Legalize
four
those
of you
things.
the four of you are among those number.
Is Engelbart still seizing with the servitor?
Yes.
Okay.
Did I come out of the room, by the way? I guess when I heard this random fucking noise, we departed with
Yeah,
the...
you and Diona both burst out of the room when you heard that god-awful screeching sound.
Okay.
And, yeah, and the party just erupts into raucous celebration. You see down at the other end of the hall, Theseus Ophaly has finally made it to the ball as well, and you see him and his circle of friends. And he was the man, if you remember, in the first session, who was running the sharpshooting contest, who was overseeing the festival that you guys were taking.
Totally remember that.
Yeah. So he just scowls at all of his friends, and he whispers to one, and he storms out. So clearly, whatever has just been announced was not in favor of House Ophaly. All of a sudden, Engelbart, a number of guards near you raise their rifles and aim straight at you, and they say, "Halt!" What do you do?
I make my way to him, by the way, as they do this.
Okay. Engelbart, what's your reaction to this?
I quizzically look sideways and I ask them, what is the meaning of this?
And they say, that picked servitor unit does not have the proper authorization to be in this area. What is it doing here? And you see it's just trying to like trundle off even more. And now that you have seen,
And then the game turns into Wall-E.
Now that you've seen Zarya Theopoia giving her speech up there, you realize that it's actually her that your picked servitor is obsessed with trying to capture. It's trying to make its way through the...
Whoops.
And it's got that green light beeping, so showing the recording in progress. And a couple of enforcers step in its way.
I have taken control of this picked servitor in the name of the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Holy Omnisire. I would suggest that you do not oppose my attempts to control it. The picked servitor is highly unstable, and that may result in an explosion, which would not be the most pleasant for the furniture.
That sounds like you're trying to make a deceive test.
Yes.
Would you give me a roll, please?
Okay.
May it be as well as you're dancing.
They look at you and they say, if this picked servitor is under the service of the Omniscience, then where are the sigils inscribed into its flesh? No, I think this picked servitor is here for another reason. Destroy it! And three of them cock their rifles and aim directly at the head of the picked servitor. Are you going to intervene?
Probably. I would like the information from that picked servitor.
What are you doing?
That's a great question.
As I
don't-
find out that it's about the pick servitor, I spin on the heel of my boot and grab another flute of champagne and just sit there. Like, I was walking towards him because I thought that he was in trouble, but then they're like, the pick servitor is illegal, and I'm like, all right, fuck that.
Where am I in relation, by the way?
You're dancing with the old
Do you
guy,
want to
aren't
be near enough by? Your dance was rudely interrupted by the feedback screech.
It was
Right,
Taco Bell.
right.
We're
Yeah.
talking about.
But I mean, am I witnessing all of this?
Yes, if you want to be. It's a pretty obvious event happening in that corner of the ballroom.
I don't think we necessarily want to reveal that this is inquisitorial business in front of every
Right.
nobleman on the planet.
Right.
That seems like a fairly bad idea, considering we suspect that half of them are involved in some heretical activity.
Well, you say that, but I'm drunk. So I waltz out. I waltz out and see that these three guys have something aimed at your pick servitor item. And I go, "Hey, Ingy, how's it go? Why are they shooting your... What's going on here?"
The man in charge turns to you and says, "Sir, this picked servitor is not authorized to be in this location. We are putting it down."
You're going to blow it up?
Yes.
I will...
Fuck yeah.
I
I back off and say
I
go.
suddenly will act intoxicated,
Okay.
Uh-oh.
and I'll put my arms around Eli, just like kind of one arm around the shoulder, which
Okay.
requires me to kind of stand on my tiptoes, but it's okay. And I'll slowly kind of gonna stumble in the direction of the servitor while murmuring half-finished sentences in binary cant.
Okay. There's
So
just
you-
kind of this. Bzz, bzz, bzz,
As you're doing this,
It-
I'm drunkenly saying, "I knew it. I knew you'd come to me finally. You owe me your life, and I'm glad you finally recognize it."
I'm
Awesome.
slowly stumbling in the direction of the picked servitor, by the way.
Okay. Well, you're clearly in their line of fire, so they're sort of looking at their chief, wondering
Wow.
what to do.
While they're stumbling towards, I guess Rat Taco Man, I just want to say, so, like, what is 178?
Oh, he turns to you and he says, "Oh, you don't know?" And he's just this kind of, fat, pudgy, balding older man. He says, "Law 178 is a new trade tariff law that, as you may have noticed from the reaction of some of the nobles here, it reinforces House Phaedrus's relationship with the Samsonite mines beneath the city. And losing out in Law 178 are a number of nobles, including, you may have seen, Theseus Ophaly leaving in a huff. He was bidding for a different outcome because he has a new manufacturing process that he wants to test out with the aforementioned Samsonite, and unfortunately he will not." And he just sort of drones on and on, and
Yeah.
you get the sense that it's just it must be something incredibly political and like that the people in this room care about very deeply, but nobody else would even consider.
Okay. Okay.
So
I just am sort of then listening while watching the drunken Eli and Engelbart.
yeah, Engelbart, you reach the picked servitor and you put your arm around it, and the chieftain he steps up to you and he puts his hand on your shoulder and he says, "Son, is this really your picked servitor? And be honest with me now. I know you're not drunk."
I attempt electo induction on on the guard.
Okay, give me a melee attack.
Is he still hugging me or whatever the fuck he was doing?
Yeah, his
Yeah,
arm's
I
still
was
around
doing-
your shoulder.
Yeah.
Great.
As I'm doing this, by the way, I scream as loudly as possible, "Get back! It's going to overload."
Oh, okay. You scream that. That sounds like like some sort of a deceive test or a bluff test or something like that. Let's see, what would that be? I think it's a deceive, but I'm going to give you a plus 30 because he knows nothing about machines and you're a
Indeed.
tech priest.
He would trust the word of the Holy Omnisire brought forth through this tech adept.
Yep.
Ooh.
Oh, awesome. So yeah, he immediately stumbles back. He says, "What? Overload?" And he says, "Get down!" And like all of the guards hit the floor, and the noble people sort of shriek. Are you following through with your elect 2 induction?
Yeah, I will elect to. I will put a shock through him, or attempt to.
Well, he's on the floor. Are you reaching down to grab him, or are you just gonna blast Eli?
Well, he'll be fine. It's all kind of happening at once, right?
Yeah.
Everything's sort of happening at once.
Okay.
So,
That's a weapon
I-
skill.
let's not actually. I'll say, fear not, brave nobles, for in the name of the holy Omnisire, I shall pacify the machine spirit. At which point I go straight for the data port.
Okay. What are you doing with the data port?
I'm attempting to dump the information from the Pict Servitor's Pict sensor as quickly as possible to a data slate.
Okay, sure. You pull a data slate out of a pocket that you've got, and you give me a tech use.
Okay. Well, I'm trained in that a lot. Oh, for the love of I think I'll burn a fate point on that. Well, not burn, but use a fate point. That's close enough, right?
What's your tech use skill?
I got a tech use and a +10 to it.
That is an intelligence, so that would be 48. It's not good enough, but I will let you. What you can do while you're there, you realize you're not going to be able to get the information off of him quickly. What I will let you do is override his motion control centers and set him to trundling right out the doors.
All right, I'll do that as quickly as I can then.
Okay. Yeah, you fiddle with some stuff on the back of his head, cross a couple wires. He goes, woo! And then he turns around and starts trundling immediately towards the exit. And the guards sort of look up, and everybody's like staring at you.
I am saying, what's my response to that?
The captain says,
I have managed to delay the overload, and I have sent the Pict Servitor out of the door, where it will not harm anybody.
You
That's
say that, I'm like,
convincing,
our
but...
savior, you're the best, Ingy. I'm just like, you saved us again. This is amazing.
Awesome. Okay. The Pict Servitor trundles out, and the guards sort of relax, and Planetary Governor Zarya Theopoia suddenly appears in the midst of you. In all of the excitement, you didn't even see her descending, but the crowd has parted, and suddenly she's right there. And she says, "What is the meaning of this?" She's looking directly at you, Engelbart. And the captain stands up. He says, he takes a knee and he says, "Planetary Governor, there was an unauthorized Pict Servitor monitoring you. It's the third time this week." She says, "Silence." And she looks
While this
at
is
you,
going on,
Engelbart.
Stephen, by the way, I make my way back to the able-bodied woman.
Yep. She's actually now, she's sort of working her way through the crowd, and every time you think you're about to catch up to her, she's sort of like, all of a sudden a crowd appears, and she just sort of moves off somewhere else. It's almost like she's trying to dodge you.
Well, the power of attraction is strong here, so I lust forward.
You lust forward. Wonderful. Okay. Give me.
We don't need to follow
test.
this. You can. Oh, okay. I was just saying that I was passively doing that, but no,
Yeah. Okay.
not
So-
aware of anything.
As you're wandering the room looking for Kalia,
He's so love struck.
Zarya Theopoia is speaking with the captain, and she says, "Who is this gentleman?" And she points to Engelbart, and Karna Phaedrus comes up next to her, and she says, "Planetary Governor Theopoia, this is Engelbart Kappa. He was instrumental in the recovery of my daughter. He may be strange, but he is good at heart." And Planetary Governor Theopoia looks at you, and she says, "Well, yes. The tech priests are a strange lot, but they do invaluable things for the Imperium. I will require a feed from that Pict Servitor, tech priest. You will give it to me, I trust?"
I just kind of nod awkwardly.
Very well. We're done here. And the captain and guards stand down, and she begins striding out the door. It's about 1 a.m. by now. The party is going late into the night. Jeff, or Jax rather, you finally catch up with Kalia, and she's facing away from you. What do you do?
Just kind of tap her on the shoulder, I guess.
All right, you tap her on the shoulder, and she turns around to face you, and she just vanishes. right in front of your eyes.
Okay. I take a swig and just kind of walk away.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. This is like fucking weird. So I kind of like pass my hand through where she was.
Yep. There's nothing
Nothing.
there. Nothing at all.
Then I go, And then I just kind of walk back to go watch Engelbart.
All right. You saw, actually, there were a couple of noblemen nearby who had been sort of eyeing her. And they also, like, their faces just sort of pale and they turn away. And one of them sort of looks at you strangely and walks in the other direction. The party itself continues for a lot longer. It goes until 5 or 6 a.m. Do you guys want to stay for the entire time? Or are you going to turn in pretty early? It seems like the most important individuals, like Karna Phaedrus begins turning in, and Zarya Theopoia is obviously left.
All right, the party's winding down. I kind of go to each of them and say, we should think about, now that we have our reward and we've healed up a little bit, we should think about checking out Ophalai tomorrow.
Are there any representation? Is there any representation whatsoever of the local Adeptus Mechanicus in any way at this particular ball, or did they just not bother showing?
Yes, there are 2 tech priests that were both flanking Zarya Theopoia. You can catch them as they're on their way out if you wanted to.
Okay, I'd like to question them about access to local resources and also purchasing various tech and implants, and I want to know if there's anywhere nearby that anywhere on the planet that I can do that.
Yes. Well, they inform you that the Adeptus Mechanicus is in control of a spire here in Highview Traxxas. And if you visit the Mechanicus spire, then you will be able to acquire all of the implants you seek, provided, of course, that your faith in the Omnissiah is strong enough.
Naturally.
Yep. And then they bid you a blessing in binary cant, and they stride out following Zarya Theopoia.
All right, cool.
So,
Is Cortez still at the party this late?
Thank you.
ooh, do an awareness check. Let's see if you can catch Cortez as he leaves.
All right. Roll
JP's like, yeah, and then I kill him.
64. Probably not.
You saw him like 5 minutes ago in sort of a crowd of people. He's got really short cropped black hair. He was wearing a cream-colored half mask on the right half side of his face,
Yeah.
with a number of feathers over his right eye, and Diona pointed him out to you to make sure that you took note of him. You saw him about 5 minutes ago in sort of a crowd. A couple of young women were sort of hanging off of him. But now when you look around, you don't actually see him anywhere.
Okay. Understood.
Okay.
I don't want to press or do anything or press the matter right now.
All right. So the party dissipates pretty uneventfully from here on out. You guys are able to make it back to the barracks at House of Phaedrus and get a few hours of much-needed rest. You wake up the next morning, and Jax, you have a data slate on your bedside table with a note on it reading, "From Lupus."